Takamuona mwana uyo achitamba ega urine nangwe shamwari dzaimutiza dzimwe dzacho dzaimuseka asi kusanzwisisa masikirwo ake nekushayiwa ruzivo.
In this week's episode, we showcase a great milestone in disability issues, the launch of the Parliamentary Caucus on Persons with Disabilities. On the 7th of June, the 9th session of the Parliament of Zimbabwe achieved a great milestone in the struggle for championing of social and economic justice by recognizing those members of society which were usually marginalized by structure or systems out of the national development discourse.
The midwifery of this caucus today significantly espouses the path towards a society founded upon the principles of inclusivity and equity, of leaving no one and no place behind. Honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, as representatives of the people, it is your solemn responsibility as parliamentarians to ensure that the voices and the needs of all citizens, including those living with disability, are heard and addressed positively. Are heard and addressed positively. Don't realize and say there is a problem. Big question that must be asked is, what are you doing with that problem? For that reason, this caucus should be more than just a group of like-minded parliamentarians and stakeholders. Like other caucuses, it has to be a powerful force for mindset change, not amongst yourself. A change of mindset change across all sectors of our society. A beacon for hope, a beacon of hope for the millions of people living with disabilities in our society. Through this parliamentary lobby and advocates collective, the opportunity should arise to amplify the perspectives and experiences of this often marginalized community so that it can abundantly actualize its aspirations in all sectors of our economy without any apology at all. In addition to serving as a watchdog and monitoring the effectiveness of existing laws and policies related to disability rights, this caucus is enjoined to work with select committees to hold the government accountable for its commitment and actions regarding the needs of people living with disability.
Persons with disabilities in the past have faced systematic and structural barriers, discrimination, and lack of representation in the corridors of power and decision-making.
need to be addressed. The caucus brings such hope for persons with disabilities and their families in Zimbabwe. When the journey started with the working group, we did not know that we would be here today. We saw the keenness, the eagerness of Parliament to be inclusive, and there was no request that we made to Parliament that was denied. DZT and its partners saw the need to be as passionate and as dedicated and committed to inclusion as we saw Parliament was. There is still a lot of work ahead of us, as Senator Shiri said, that there is a mountain to climb. But I know that together we will climb it and achieve dignity, respect for persons with disabilities and their families. Today, I urge all stakeholders, including persons with disabilities, government departments, organizations of persons with disabilities, families of persons with disabilities, civil society organizations, funding partners, and all development partners to work closely with the caucus to address the challenges that remain. We have made progress as a nation. Our constitution is very inclusive. We now have a number of inclusive laws, and the caucus adds to that progress. This is one of the progressive steps, given the laws that we have, given the policies that we have towards the realization or the progressive realization of the rights of persons with disabilities. As the caucus is being launched, we would like to acknowledge the fundamental challenges, especially on allocation of resources to these critical sector of our society, the disproportionate rates of poverty, unemployment, lack of access to healthcare, education, and social protection for persons with disabilities. Representing a coalition that works on social and economic justice, especially to champion social and economic justice. We realize that poverty has got different faces, but I'm sure we can also put the face of a person with disability and the many intersectionalities that people with disabilities do face at community level and in society. We hope that this is the beginning for us of a journey to dismantle the unjust barriers and build a more egalitarian society. And at Parliament, we hope that this is going to be the beginning of a consolidated effort together, as has been said, for accessibility, for legislation that is progressive and that wears the disability lens, and investing in disability services, which we have actually had here, and support and elevating representation of persons with disabilities.
Achitamba